Hi, this is Greg McCoach, editor of the Mining Speculator. I'm here in Vancouver, Canada for the 2020 Metals Investor Forum. Today I'm interviewing Chairman and CEO Jim Paterson of Val-Or Metals Corp. Jim, glad to have you here.
Known you for a long time. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you.
Yeah, and we have a new exciting story, and
Yeah.
this is my first interview with you, and I'm looking very much so to getting to know what the company's all about and what you're doing. So I know tomorrow I'm going to meet with at the booth there. I'm going to go through the whole thing, but this is a great time for us to reacquaint and see what you're doing. So we got an exciting market for the metals again. Investor interest is high. And so why don't you just give us the basics, give us the symbol, share structure. These first interviews, I like to cover that with all my new subscribers.
Yeah, but distill the opportunity, a raging PGM or Platinum Group Metals market.
Oh, yeah.
And Val-Or shareholders have ownership and control over an entire district, a PGM district in northern Brazil.
Wow.
So the timely, big land package.
Yeah.
There's an existing resource, a 4311 resource, lots of exploration potential and lots of resource expansion potential. And we have a really great team of geologists and specialists that know how to do that.
Yeah, and oddly enough, I just saw palladium prices were up $100 this morning.
Yeah.
$23.50.
Yeah.
Per ounce.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't more than 10 days ago that we were writing in our material just over 2,000, and it's moved $300 since then.
Right.
Platinum's moved as well, and that crested $1,000 as well.
Right.
So we, not to get off topic, but we acquired the project. We announced the acquisition in May of 2019.
Right.
And since then, gold's up over 20, platinum's up over 27%, and palladium's up over 70% since we made that acquisition. So the timing is really good. Right.
And I've always been a big follower of platinum and palladium as a precious metals. They're kind of the not discussed metals, but I was involved with PolyMet up in Minnesota, and they have 3.7 million ounces of platinum palladium in that resource. They're caught with permitting issues with the state, but yeah, they're getting resolved, but that's quite exciting as well. But your story, let's drill down into the basics first. Your share structure, symbol for everybody.
Sure. Val-Or Metals Corp, VO, is the ticker on the TSX Venture. Roughly 88 million shares outstanding. The share price today is, I think, 32 or 33.
Right.
A little over $1 million cash.
Right.
And warrants to come in to bolster that as well. What was the other question you asked me?
I think we got them all.
Okay, you got it. Okay, I think you got it.
Yeah. So after that, let's drill down into what are the next steps for you to move forward. How are you going to move this company forward now?
Yeah. So the project itself has had about $35 million spent in exploration by previous owners, including Anglo. And so the data is really high quality, but it was generally, you could describe it as fragmented when we bought the project. So we've taken quite a bit of time to pull it together, and we've realized what an asset we have. That's kind of delayed some of the work we would normally do. We'd normally get out there and do a whole bunch of soil sampling and trenching and geophysics. It's all been done by a really good company or groups of companies. So we're going to leverage that data, put together a new program, which would include drilling. So once we get permitting sorted out, so we're following all the regulatory actions that we need, we'll announce that drill program to the market. And that drill program will be focused on resource expansion and exploration drilling or discovery.
Yeah.
But that will be within the next couple of months, we'll announce that plan.
Yeah. And that really got my attention. See, I'm a big believer in going to school on other people's dime, especially when the shareholder dilution that we have nowadays compared to, in other periods. It costs junior mining companies to the legal costs are so much greater right now. And so if you can go to school on someone else's dime and quickly build up from there, it lessens the shareholder dilution over time. So
it's one of our strategies as a company. When we look at a project, has there been significant investment by the prior operators?
Yeah.
And also included with that, road access, paved road access, or a port. If you don't have to build that yourself, your IRR is a lot higher.
Right.
I think the other thing that we look at is the quality of the data. and how we can employ new technologies or new techniques. A lot's happened in the last 5 years
Right.
outside of the mining world that we can apply in the
Right.
mining world, and we're utilizing that. Some really good people to help us target.
Right. Well, it sounds like a confluence of factors have come together for you
Yeah.
and Valour right now. And I'm a big believer that precious metals are going to continue to creep higher. And of course, the platinum palladium dynamic. These are sister metals that are typically mined together. They have
Yeah.
a very high degree melting point, very high, 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit melting point. That makes them very technologically useful in a lot of capacities. Of course, the biggest of which is the catalytic converters in
Yeah.
the cars for the pollution control. But whether it's palladium leading or platinum leading, because the car companies can switch back and forth of which metal they're using, it really doesn't matter. One of them, both of them are going to do well in this environment.
Well, that's a really good point. I mean, because you don't want to advise your viewers that to buy at a market top for a commodity, a spike,
Right.
right? And so this particular deposit is about 60-40, 60 palladium,
40%
platinum. And so these metals tend to sometimes move against it,
Right.
against
they
each
kind
other.
of a push-pull. It's
So right now, palladium is screaming. Now, ironically, platinum's actually moving back as well.
Right.
Palladium is in deficit, and platinum is in a little bit of a surplus. But
Right.
there's lots of investment demand for it, so the price is getting pushed up.
Right.
And what you mentioned before is important to know in terms of substitution. As Rick Rule says, the cure for high prices is
That's
high
right.
prices.
Right.
So, there could be a substitution effect going on, but if you think of it, a large auto manufacturer, they're not going to switch back and forth.
No.
They just start taking steps to
Steps
reduce their
of-
costs, and it takes them some time. Either way, I'm not saying we're covered, but we have both metals in the
No,
in the
that's
deposit.
I like the fact
Yeah.
that you're. And typically, what I've seen in my career as a newsletter writer looking into platinum and palladium, they're typically mined together. I think of the
Yeah.
big deposits, the Norilsk,
Yeah.
that's the case. South Africa, I know the Polymet situation is the same, but it's very encouraging. And boy, I'm excited to get to know your story more. I would suggest, this is the kind of project that I'd like to go do a site visit on.
Right.
When you get to that point where you're going to invite a bunch of people down, please put me on that list. I'll be on the plane to go.
It will surprise you. What I showed today was it's not rainforest.
Yeah.
You land in a city called Fortaleza, 3 million people on the beach.
Wow.
There's an international airport and a port, and then it's a 4-hour drive down the highway to a very dry kind of ranch land
Yeah.
area. So it may not be what you're expecting. It wasn't what I was expecting when I
Really?
went there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't spectacular nightclubs and restaurants
Yeah.
in Capitan, more than 1,000 people, but awesome locals. They're super friendly, and it is an amazing site visit to go on.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to do that.
All right.
Keep me posted.
You are invited.
Yeah. Well, we'll be there for sure. And
Okay.
I always do a focus brief when I do a site visit on a company, a new company that I like. Now,
Yeah.
I'm just getting to learn the company, but based on what I'm hearing and what I already know, this is exactly what I'm looking for, especially with the platinum palladium story.
Well, we look forward to hosting you there.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for being
Great.
here.
Thank you very much.